Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fetch Quest podcast and another episode of our series, Two Short Games. In this series, two of our hosts will pitch a game to play to each other and to you, the audience, in a bite-sized video. Any game we discuss can normally be beaten in between 1 to 10 hours, making them easy to pick up and play.
But with that out of the way, I'm your host for tonight, Brewer, joined by my fellow host, Connor.
Hello.
Connor, I am so happy to have you on tonight, because I'm ready to talk about two short games in a very particular category.
And what category would that be, Brewer?
I'd say these games both classify as short little puzzle adventure games. They're not the longest, and they're not always the most complex, but they have some nice intuitive puzzles and some nice storytelling to go along with them that I think makes them very compelling.
You know, knowing the game I'm going to be pitching to you, I have to agree.
I think to start us off, though, I'll start pitching my game, because even though our games are very similar, I feel like mine's very different in one aspect in terms of just what it is and what it's from.
Alright, well, I'm excited to hear your pitch.
Alright, Connor. Then my pitch is to you. I want you to play Lego Builder's Journey. And I know what you may be thinking. Oh, it's just another Lego game. It's like, they're good, but you know what? I've played one. Maybe I've kind of played them all. Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, maybe Lego Incredibles, or Lego Marvel Superheroes. You know, there's a lot of them, and a lot of them are very similar platformers. But this one is very standout because because you don't even have like the little minifigs. You have more of an interpretive art style, I'd say. Everything is built with Legos, of course, but the characters are just a couple little studs placed on top of each other. They wiggle around, they don't actually have faces, so you have to kind of just interpret what they're saying and feeling. But at the same time, there's still a lot of emotion in the story, especially because you can tell it's supposed to be kind of like this parent and child. And they're both going on a little journey, and I love it because you get to see two different perspectives. One of a parent who is especially stuck in the roles of responsibility, you know, from growing up, and you have to take care of this child and make sure to get payments. And then there's the more free-spirited child who rolls around on the skateboard, doesn't have to worry about those responsibilities, and is kind of destructive when it comes to seeing said responsibilities. And the way I love it so much about it is because none of this is told to you. At most, there's just a couple things of like, oh, here's how to place bricks and whatnot. Because it also is very reflective in the level design for the puzzles. When I'm playing as the adult in some of the levels, you know, I have a very straightforward path. I gotta do X thing to get X result. But when I'm playing as the child, there's a lot more freedom. It's like, oh, I can kind of make my own path. Like, yeah, maybe there's a better path if I do this, but I can also go about this in my own way. And part of the way this works so well is because you are just working with Legos, which are a very creative tool in general, even in real life, because you actually do get to place Lego bricks to do puzzles. Like, you have little nodes that your characters will step on to navigate through each scene, because the way it works is you'll have a bunch of Legos pop up, and usually you see an end result that you want to get to. So you have to place down some bricks to help your characters climb up. It's kind of like just climbing a mountain in some aspects. And it's just an enjoyable experience throughout the whole way, you know? Because I'm very engaged with the story. I'm engaging with the puzzles and these characters, and I just think it was a very lovely time.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. This game sounds, you know, like a really fun and cute time. I guess, like, if I've got some quick questions for you, what would you say was your favorite part about the game?
That is a tough one, but I think I'd like to say it just has to be the storytelling that didn't have to use any words to tell its story, because I don't think that's a very common thing I see all the time. Even though it's very approachable, I think, with video games, because of how the medium works, it's still not very common because it's still kind of hard to pull off.
Mm-hmm. That's Awesome. And I guess because that is a very unique thing. I can't really think. The only games I can think of in my memory that ever do that are like the Metroid games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Hyper
Um,
Light Drifter does that, but like they do like picture book storytelling where like there's a lot of pictures you have to interpret.
yeah.
That's another
Um,
good game to talk about in the future.
yeah. Um, and I guess to sort of couple with my previous question, what would you say is your least favorite part of the game?
Unfortunately, I just have to say how short it is. Like on one hand, it's a blessing. On the other hand, this playtime will be about 2.5 hours, and there isn't really any extra content to it. It's kind of just straight 2.5 hours, which I will feel like is going to be hard for some people to justify the price. But luckily, it has gone on sale a lot, and heck, I remember I think I played for free just through the Epic Game Store when they had it on there for $0. Because there is a little side mode you can do where you can just build with some Legos, but it's like very rudimentary and basic. So that will just be the one biggest drawback, just its length, especially if I compare it to something like Lego Voyagers, which is co-op, and much longer and much more in depth, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that because I played Lego Voyagers myself with Guy, and I remember like even though we did finish to that in I believe a day, it still was like a really like lengthy sort of co-op game.
Yeah,
Um,
certainly. And this one is just single player, so it's just gonna be you and the experience you have with these two characters, you know.
yeah, yeah, I completely agree. And I guess just two more quick questions.
hmm
What would you like give this game out of like 10 out of 10, like a score of 10? And how long did it take you to beat it?
I'll answer the latter first because that one's much easier. It did take me about 2.5 hours, like maybe 2 hours and 15ish minutes, if I had to be a bit more precise. But I don't think you're really going to see too much variance in playtime because the only thing you can do after you beat the game is just mess around building something in the brick mode or just replay the whole game again. It's a very straightforward and linear experience. You're not going to be having a bunch of different endings and whatnot, but I still feel like it's very much worth your time because not every game needs to be that, you know?
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah, and as for the score, I think I would give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. I wish there was a little more meat to chew on, especially in regards to, like, I think what it usually is priced, which I can look that up real quick. But at the same time, I can't complain too much because it's quality over quantity, you know, which is kind of the highlight of the series for us. Games that are not the longest, very short, but they're very short and manageable, and they respect your time, and they don't try to pad it out, you know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Um, but those are all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything that you want to like add on to this before I start pitching my game?
No, the only thing I'd like to add is a quick thank you for listening to my pitch. I think we've
Yeah,
gone
the
over
you've
plenty of questions, so you know what? I think I'll be happy to just listen to your game now since I've been yapping for a
yeah,
bit.
I will definitely say you've gotten me interested in this Lego Builders Voyage. That's what it is, right?
Lego Builder's Journey.
Lego Builders Journey. Yeah, I was getting mixed up with Lego Voyagers. But now that we're past your pitch, I would like to pitch you a game that's pretty similar in terms of genre, and that is a game called Far Lone Sails. This game um, essentially has you play as this um, little kid who is taking this giant um, vehicle. It's sometimes referred to as like the vessel or the locomotive. It kind of like depends, but you're essentially taking this vehicle and you're just going somewhere. You don't really know where, but you're essentially just going on this journey through this. What the best way I can describe this game is that it's like a tour through a dying world, and it's
That's
just
interesting.
so much. Yeah, it's just so like beautiful with like the art style is beautiful, the music is incredible, and the gameplay is really interesting too because how since you are taking this vehicle, you have to have this constant upkeep of like using fuel, and the fuel will, if you don't, there's like the steam button, and if you don't use the steam button, then it overheats and you'll damage your ship or your vessel. And there's just so much you can do. You get so many different upgrades throughout to make your job easier and to do different things. And you can use those different things for certain puzzles. Um, and there's just a lot of like my favorite part. One of my favorite parts about this is definitely probably the sort of like loop you get into of putting fuel into the engine, then releasing the steam, then using the boost, and like just doing that back and forth. It's just such a like very satisfying game.
It feels like you're actually kind of operating a ship from what it sounds like. Very high maintenance, but very
It's
satisfying.
yeah, it's very similar, um, and I just I really enjoyed this game. It's very short, and I would you know I love talking about it. Do you have any questions for me?
I would say, so you said it's like kind of a dying world. So what's the kind of like overarching narrative? What's your opinion on that?
Um, so this game doesn't really have like a huge focus on story. There's zero dialogue throughout, and you
Hey,
really
that's really
get
similar to my game.
this. Yeah, and you only really get the sort of feeling of the story through just like the general like vibe, because as you're going on and exploring all of these different environments, like one area is like this little village that a tornado like tears through. Um, Another one is this like old decrepit factory that like would like use trains, and it's just all destroyed and defunct.
So what you're saying
Um,
is it's a big focus on just more so environmental storytelling.
yes, it's a very environmental storytelling sort of game, and that's one of my favorite parts about it because it does definitely clearly have a very big environmental message with its like overall like story.
That's interesting. What type of art style does it use, if I may ask? Because you mentioned the art style is really pretty, and I am curious for like this dying world, what does it look like in the general means of its art style?
That is, I'm gonna get this wrong, so I'm gonna try and look this up. But it's this very like, um, I guess the best way I would describe it is just like it's almost like a painting. Like the backgrounds look very like painted with like it almost looks like you can see the brush strokes
Kind of like
in
it's
some of the
an oil
backgrounds.
painting.
Yeah, like I would like yeah, almost like an oil painting, and it's just always such a like delight for me to look at. Um, like the clouds look like brush strokes. Um, the like sun will like be in these very warm like watery colors and stuff like that. Like you can see the texture in the background and stuff like that. It's just so beautiful.
So it kind of just feels like the whole game has like kind of this human touch to every screen you pass by.
Yeah, essentially. And as this being a puzzle adventure game, you will like encounter these like sort of roadblocks on your journey that you have to figure out through, like doing puzzles and stuff like that. And it's all just such a like, it's a very like the puzzles aren't like anything super complicated like you were saying for your game, but they are just like really nice like I would say like breathers from the um like general loop that like do sometimes make you think.
I see. Then I guess my two last questions are going to be the same as yours. What is your score out of 10? And how long did it take for you to beat this game?
So I'll do the same as you and answer the latter first. This is a incredibly linear game. You can mess up. There were times where I like died. Well, I only died once because I was busy messing around. I was busy messing around in the ship, and I didn't notice there was a volcano exploding behind me, in the background, which is kind of, which was on me. I don't know how I didn't notice that.
I mean, it's kind of funny when you put it that way. It's like you're just playing with a little toy and you don't notice the giant volcano going off in the background.
Yeah, and so I wasn't able to avoid that in time. But it's very linear in terms of like the actual like path. Again, you're like, the puzzles aren't super hard, so you're not going to get stuck there for a while. So it took me around 4 hours to beat, and that's what it usually takes for everyone. And out of a score out of 10, I'd give this a 8 out of 10. I think while I do really really like it, I do think my two biggest like sort of problems with the game is that it doesn't put as much focus on the story as I want to, which was really only a flaw I thought about it after playing the sequel game, which I would love to talk about on this little show as well. But my other flaw is just sort of the there are a few like areas where it sort of drags out a bit, but besides that, I still think this is a wonderful game and everyone should play it.
Awesome. I think I will probably try to check it out soon because it sounds very interesting, and about 4 hours, that's not bad. I think I definitely have time for that.
Yeah, I'm glad I could, pique your interest with it.
Awesome. I'd say with that though, we're at the end of both of our pitches, so thank you, viewer, for listening to both of our pitches. And I'd say with that, if you like this kind of content and want to see more of it, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment if you're interested in these games, or if you have any potential suggestions for games we should cover or games you personally enjoy that are in this short format. But with that, thank you again for listening to this episode of Two Short Games. See you later.